What's up, folks? We're back. Apologize for the
back in the saddle.
Yep. Yeah, that was my fault last week. We had we had a death in the family on my wife's side. I mean, it was her grandmother, and she was 80, 88 or 89.
Yeah.
That's a lot of life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, if you told me I was going to get to 89, I'd probably say, well, as long as it's good quality of life all the way up to the end, I think most people take that. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I mean, maybe I'm morbid, but I just don't see myself making it that long.
I mean, playing the odds, you're not. I mean,
what is it, 75 or 77?
It's somewhere, mid 70s.
Yeah, which our grandfather was he 75?
So
or 73?
I'm trying to think, do math. So he died in 2000. I'm not sure exactly what year he was born.
I'm not either. I'm not either. But he was in his early to mid 70s.
He would have been born mid 20s, so obviously 25 would have made him right at 75. So
yeah. Or was he? He wasn't 77.
So my mom's dad was born in 23, and if you put a gun to my head, I'd have said I think they were born the same year, but I may just be making that up.
Yeah,
which would have made him 77.
Well, that's what, for some reason, the number 77 just kind of stuck out to me. He might have been 77, which, I mean, his was crazy. You know, I mean, he was he was a strong, healthy dude, even at 77 years old. He just had a freak thing happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember that. It was October 27th of 2000. I was a senior in high school. Yeah, I remember it very clearly. But it was, and, when I think about that, and of course, everybody says this in hindsight, but that's probably the way he'd have wanted to go.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. I don't know how we got on the subject even, but it's like he would have not done well at all being
in a hospital or something.
Yeah, a nursing home would have been.
Yeah.
But even just dependent on other people, it's like my mom's dad is not in a nursing home. He still lives at home.
Yeah.
But still, he relies on a lot of the people to help him, and he's still pretty dang independent. But I don't know, he was
Big C. I don't think would have done very well with it.
He was so darn independent, hard. I don't, man, and I appreciate that. I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. He had knee surgery. Was a knee surgery he was looking forward to, and was so happy to have had it done, and passed a blood clot, and was dead before he hit the ground, basically, for all practical purposes. And
man, I've thought about that because that's what what got me thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, he was never sick. I mean, he had had a surgery a day or two before, and just dead.
Dad was telling us about when he injured his knee. It wasn't that long ago. He was telling, I guess, me and Brock, and he was like, I still remember. He said, man, we were in there, and he said that cow kicked him in the knee, and he said, we got out there, got done working the cows, and he goes, look at that. Look at my knee. And he says, he goes, it just moves around. He said he could just move his leg around. And he said, hell, he stayed like that for years. He walked around on a shot knee for years. But he said, Paw goes, look at my knee. Just look at it. It would just move around.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, crazy thing was, and kind of ironic, was he was so looking forward to that surgery. Say it was end of October. He had made sure he had everything taken care of on the farm. He got everything winterized. It was right there about the time of year we get first frost, and had everything all set and ready and kind of squared away for him to be down for a few weeks. And little do you know, that's just proof. Which, heck, that's still a good long life. But I mean, we all know friends our age, even younger than we are, that things happen. Just you're there one minute and gone the next. So
man, that's what I feel like that's one thing I was just recently talking about, which, we've had several in the area that have recently passed away. And like I said, my wife's grandmother, which she was nearly 90. Her sister passed away last year and she was 99. Yeah. Which I always joked with her. I said she was the best one because she married a Hanks. So she was She was Edith Hanks. And I would always, I'd say, well, you're the best of the bunch because you married a Hanks.
Right.
But she was a Rosie the Riveter. Never knew that until she was dead.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Never found that out until we read her obituary. But like, that's what I was saying. It's one of the weirdest things with just getting older is especially when people around your age die.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the, it's like a sobering, we're not trying to be bummers on the episode here, but it's just a sobering thing.
Well, and I had friends when I was in high school died.
Yeah.
But always like car accidents, basically, and things like that.
Not health related.
Right. And then, but yeah, I am at the age where I've had friends that just,
Yep.
I know, and like little kids can get cancer, obviously. It's why St. Jude's just right down the road from us. So, you can get sick and die at a young age, but especially me. It's 2023. I will be 40 this year.
Yeah.
So and it's you look at it one hand, my granddad's still living at 99. So I might have another 60 years in me. But at the same time, I might not have another 6 minutes in me. That's just the way it is. But no, when you text me last week, first on Wednesday, it said we couldn't do it. We were going to try again on Thursday, and we couldn't do it. Both nights, I was like, kind of a relief, because we're sitting here. It's 9:30. I'd be in bed right now if I was at home.
Oh yeah.
It's both nights. I was like, oh man, I'm tired.
I was doing that tonight. Marcy she was going to bed, and I was like, man, I'm tired. I could definitely go to sleep. Because like I said, he's got a fever.
Yeah.
And which he's fine right now, which we given him a little medicine, and he's like right as rain, but he's in bed now. But he didn't get to go to school today. And last night he ended up in our bed because his fever was breaking, and so he was sweating and tossing and turning and crying, and so he ended up in our bed. And so Marcy and I both did not sleep very good.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. But if I had to pick, I'd still rather do it this time than at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
Well, before we get into it all, like I said, first, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Leave us a rating and a review. But, man, I'm going to tell you what. Today, I'm supposed to be like, this is the time of year when I'm kind of just doing dozer and traco work, and it's all supposed to be pretty smooth sailing. I go out there and just hop on the traco, put in a pretty good day, get off, come in. Man, I tell you what, today was terrible. I went to my traco. Well, I tried to run my other traco last week.
So your newer one?
Yeah. Well, I was going to go run the Volvo on my farm in Clear.
Right,
and so I went out to it, and I was running it, and this actually brings up something funny. So I put up the video on YouTube of both lift cylinders were just leaking their ass off.
Yeah.
Did you see the comment? Some guy commented and said, "Great job catching the oil." Like he was offended that I was letting the oil just run on the ground.
Yeah.
And I just wrote back. I said, "Thanks," because I'm like, I'm in this. I'm about 300 yards away from my truck, and I'm up in the woods here clearing this farm ground.
Yeah.
It ain't like and when I noticed it leaking was when I made the video, because I was like, oh damn, I picked the bucket up, and then I just saw the oil coming out of both cylinders. I had not noticed it.
Yeah.
And then I immediately took it over to the truck and parked it, because I'm going to have to get reseal kits or seal kits for the cylinders. But it just tripped me out. I'm like, what does the dumbass think that I'm going to do? Like, does he think I have a bucket?
Should have used your hat.
I guess so. Like, I'm supposed to have something like in the traco with me in this little bitty cab. Like, it ain't like they got a ton of room in there, but it's not like I carry around a bucket in there. And then I want to be like, how am I going to walk this traco back to the truck while trying to it's just YouTube people.
I imagine it's somebody who's never operated anything, like has no idea of like what he's saying. You know, all he knows is there's oil spilling on the ground, and that's not a good thing. Which, yeah, we all agree that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
there's it's inevitable when you run equipment like that. And
it is. He should have been there about 2 months ago when I blew a high pressure line on the Traco, and it blew 30 gallons of hydraulic oil out.
Yeah.
That's what I should have. I wish I had that one on video.
And that's the kind of thing, like, it happens all the time.
Oh,
it doesn't matter if you're talking about a
it's
track
inevitable.
Running farm equipment, you know, whatever. You blow a line and you shut everything down fast as you can.
Yeah.
But there's zero spillage is not possible.
It is not possible. I mean, that's how, that day I blew the high pressure line, I was in the swamp on there, because that farm is it's somewhat Loosahatchee bottom ground, sort of. And I was in the watery swamp. And all of a sudden, like, I'm swinging around to drop off some trees. And when I swing around, it just keeps swinging around. I'm like, the track hoe, like, doesn't stop when I let off the joystick. And I'm like, what the heck? And I just turn to my right, and it's like this hose is just, I mean, it is blasting hydraulic oil right on the glass. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I have to walk it out of the water. Like, I'm like in a swamp. So
you couldn't just kill it right there.
Yeah. So I'm like walking it out of here, and it's just like, boom, just blowing hydraulic oil out. And I got it over there. And I mean, even like when I turned it off, it finally quit, but I got it to where it was out of the watery area and stopped. And when I replaced the line was about that long. It was 4 braid line, cost me like $760 for a little bitty short line,
like 30 inches.
yeah. I mean, you know, and luckily it was easy, like a short line. It was nothing to changing it, but yeah, it was super expensive. I had to go to Memphis to get it made, and put it back on, and I bought 15 gallons worth of hydraulic oil, because I was like, well, it had gone completely out of the glass, but I was like, I probably lost 10 or 12 gallons is what I was figuring. So I put all 3 jugs in there, or barrels. These are 5-gallon buckets. Put all 3 of them in there. It never comes up in the glass. So then I had to drive, and I'm in Bolton, so I had to drive all the way to Munford, and I go to Kohl's, and I get like 2 more buckets, because I'm like, surely that's enough. And I go back and I put 2 more buckets in there, and it's still not in the glass. So I had to drive all the way back to Kohl's, and I bought like 4 buckets at that point. It ended up taking like a little over 30 gallons of hydraulic oil. And so you think about like how much that little hose cost, plus all whatever, 7 or whatever, how many buckets I bought.
6, that you put in there,
It was pretty pricey day, but today, man, I went out there to my deer, because my Volvo's down, because I'm being good.
But you've had a leak on the deer too, right?
I did, but I got under there, and I'm kind of thinking it was pushing, it had too much in it, and it was just pushing some out, because I haven't been able to find like a certain leak, and I let it run, and I can't see like where anything's leaking. So when I got it, it was way over full, and I think it may just be pushing some out. Anyways, so I
catch it.
Yes, I got it. I make sure to have somebody lay under it and while I'm driving and catch it.
Yeah, you need an intern that just follows you around and does that.
Yeah, I'll get him to just crawl under there the whole time. But I ran today and got out there, cranked it up, ran for probably an hour, had really good intentions. I got out there, it was like 8:45, because I had to take Emerson to school and drop my son off. 8:45, I'm out there running, pumped up for the day, and then the track hoe just quits. And I'm like,
completely dies.
Just completely dies. So then I try to crank it, it turns over like crazy, will not crank. So I go over there and drain some water. There was some water in the little fuel filter thing. Drain it out. Try it again. Cranks up, goes dead. Like, it cranks and then goes dead. So it's all right. I'm not getting fuel.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's clearly a fuel problem.
Yep. So I drive to Kohl's, back again. I go That's a 20, 30-minute drive from Bolton, and because that's where it is. It's also out in Bolton. It's actually deeper in Bolton than my other one. And so I go to Kohl's and get the fuel filters, go back, slap them on there. Well, now I can't find how to prime the darn thing because most of them have a button or a little lever where you prime up the lines. I can't find it. I spend an hour looking for it, trying different things, bleeding the lines, everything else. I finally call Stribling Equipment. He gets a technician to call me. I pump it up, cranks up, runs. I run for probably 30, 45 minutes doing more work. I'm like, fuel filter, that was it. Then it just goes dead. And I'm like, you son of a bitch, whenever it goes dead.
This sounds like when I called you to rescue me with a tractor. I was having fuel
problems. It does. Well, I got out there, bled the line again. I was like, maybe it's getting air in it. There was some rust in the glass, like on the bottom of it. So I'm like, maybe the fuel is just really dirty. It's getting low in fuel. I don't know, but I tried to crank it, and then it was popping up a battery alarm. And then I shut everything down when I thought it almost was going to catch on fire. I pulled my service truck over there because I had bled the line, so I'd let off there. And I was like, it ought to crank. I even pumped up the fuel with the little lever over there. And I hooked some booster cables up to my truck and to the Traco because it's been trying to turn over. Well, I hook them up. I go over there and I try it. It tries to turn over for just a little bit and it sounds weird. So I let off of it. Well, when I let off of it, the starter didn't stop making a weird sound. And I look and white smoke is coming up from under the motor cover. It ain't coming out of my exhaust pipe, and it smells like an electrical burn. And I'm like, oh, shit. I mean, I got insurance on the thing, but also my service truck's right up beside this thing, so I can boost it off. So I had a jug of water, and I'm dumping it on there, and I put it out, and I was like, all right. So I called Stribling and was like, yeah, y'all are going to have to get a technician out here, because I was like, I have no damn clue what's going on with this thing. So it was a shit of a day. And then it made my service truck throw in a code. I guess somehow hooked up the batteries. A battery service battery system code popped up on my service truck.
Yeah.
And it was sputtering on the way home. I thought it was going to go dead trying to get home. And I'm like, if this truck goes dead on the way home, it would have been bad.
Oh, man.
So
yeah,
it was a good day.
See, and I had a very productive day.
Well, I'm glad one of us did.
Well, yeah, I finally ran out of grass, and so I moved all my cows home today. Now, basically, my mama cows, cow herd, and then their calves from last year traded places because I had all the wean calves still at home, and everything's where it is supposed to be for the wintertime now.
Yeah.
But I was thankful that it took me this long really to run out of grass to where I had to move them home and start feeding them. So
yeah, well, it might put some grass out today, 60 degrees.
Well, that's the thing, we other than obviously that terrible weather we had right at Christmas, we've been really mild.
Oh yeah.
Now today was even, we got up to 70 or right at it today, 68.
Yeah.
But even the last week or so, we've been in the 50s every day. And so, that's my brother and I were talking. He's talking about buying some calves maybe even next month. Cause he's like, man.
Oh, really?
Cause of course he sold just like I did back in August, except he didn't put any, I sold all my stockers and then moved my mama cows to that farm. He sold all his and didn't do anything. So he hadn't had any animals on it and getting close to 5 months now.
Yeah.
And so, the fescue, we've had plenty of moisture, too much moisture, if anything. And then, it's been mild, but yeah, the grass is looking good in places where you hadn't had anything put any pressure on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I forget that it's been that long since he's had anything out there.
Yeah, we sold them. It was mid-August.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mine only rested for 2 or 3 weeks, and I moved my cows down there. But yeah, they're home now. I don't know. It just felt good, when I wasn't even super pressured to get it done. I could have taken hay to the other farm to them, but now they're just where they're supposed to be. we'll be calving here in about 6 weeks. They're home. Pretty much all I got to do is just feed them between now and then. So
Yeah.
now the next few weeks will be a little bit nerve wracking as I'm really see how much hay we're consuming.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis.
Yeah. Get an idea of
Then
what you're looking at.
Right. Then I start doing the math in my head and taking inventory of the hay and knowing we're really not going to have much grazing until probably mid-April. And it's like, are we going to make it on hay? Which I can find some hay if I were to run out. I feel like I could, but I'm hoping I've got enough.
Yeah, you'd think, man. I like I said, our winters are just weird. They're weird around here. You don't ever know. Like,
well, like our extended forecast shows it staying fairly mild. I think it's going to get.
It's 32 is the low for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to get down to 25 one night.
Yeah,
always.
But it's up in like the 60s during the day and then 30s at night.
Friday the high is 38, so that'll be a big change from what we have been. But then, by Sunday,
I had a mosquito.
And by Monday we're back in the 60s. So
a mosquito bit me today.
I don't doubt that. Well, those of you watching on YouTube, I'm sitting here wearing a long sleeve shirt. I came this close to coming out of my long sleeve shirt today, and I probably could have or should have hauling those cows.
I was sweating out there working on the traco.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But my blood pressure was probably a little elevated. My body temperature was a little high.
Heck, I went for a run this afternoon, and I got a good sweat.
I have been speed walking.
Did you go to the mall to do it?
I ought to go. No, I take Bear back here and we just go walk, but I do a brisk pace. I'm walking a mile in a 14:30 mile.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm like having a hustle, which is crazy. When I got to looking, the Olympian speed walkers, they do a mile in like 6 minutes.
Oh yeah.
How the hell does that even work?
It's ridiculous. Like when have you ever watched the videos of them?
I don't think so.
Because there's a rule, because like obviously they can't run, but it looks so funny. It looks like somebody's about to crap their pants.
Yeah, it's got to.
Because they're walking, but it's just awkward. Because it's like, it would be so much simpler if you just jogged.
It seems like it would hurt your knees because they got to have their knees like locked or something.
It looks weird. Like literally, it looks like somebody's about to crap their pants.
Yeah.
Because the way they're walking, they're doing it so fast.
It's got to. Like even, like that 14:30 mile walking, like I'm walking pretty hard, but it's not like awkward or uncomfortable.
Well, and that makes me feel really, really humbled because my running a mile, like if I'm running multiple miles, like a 9-minute pace, and I'm not fast. Like there's people a whole lot older than me that run much faster. And like if I've got to run 1 mile, I can do a way better mile than that. But if I'm running multiple miles, about a 9-minute pace is me.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm quote unquote running.
If I had to do a multi-mile thing, running, I'd say I'd probably be in the 10:30s. I'm not a runner. I just ain't trained. Out here, it was last winter, I ran a 7:30 mile, but it was 1 mile.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
well, yeah, in 1 mile, you can do it.
I'm like, I'm going to die as soon as this is done, but I'm going to go for it. And that was my fastest mile.
I'm more of run longer distance, slower, but every now and then I'm like, I'm just going to see how fast I can do a mile.
Yeah. Have you broke a 4-minute mile?
No.
But I got to look up a guy 6-minute walking a mile because speed walking, it's got to hurt your knees. I'm like,
well, and do they do that over? Is that just a 1 mile, or do they have pace over multiples? Because that is getting it.
Oh, dude, that's like, I don't know how you do it. Like a 14:30 mile walking is putting some effort into it.
So 6 minutes. If you carried that out over a whole like marathon. Yeah, that'd be just a little over a 2.5 hour marathon, which is, that's not like world class, but that's like elite. Like, I don't know, like the dudes I know that like are runners don't run marathons, but they're probably not doing 26 miles walking like that.
Yeah. See, it says Olympic style race walkers can keep a mile pace in 6 minutes or under.
That's getting it.
That's a 6-minute mile is fast running. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
I cannot even. I mean, again, I'm way past my prime, but even in my prime, I wasn't running 6-minute miles.
Could you imagine if you were running a mile and a dude just comes blazing past you, just speed walking his ass off?
Oh, dude, I've run enough 5Ks and whatnot that, like, what's really humbling is when you get passed by like a woman who's like 8 months pregnant.
Yeah,
you're like, shit. which typically when you show up to a race and there's a woman there that's that obviously pregnant, you're
she's
like,
dedicated.
Like, yeah, she ain't no weekend warrior. Like, she is hard ass core.
Yeah.
Or somebody comes by you pushing a stroller, you're just like, damn it. Like,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what got me to doing it. So I stay lifting. I lift several times a week, and I do supersets. So like, for people that don't know what a superset is, like I have it broke down. I do full body 3 times a week, and I have my first one would be dumbbell bench superset with pull-ups, meaning I would do dumbbell press for I do 8 reps. And then I immediately go and get on the pull-up bar and do 6 to 8 reps pull-ups. And then I rest for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So 90 seconds. And then I go right back to it. So supersets is just, the pair together. Trisets is 3, and then giant sets is 4, and you want to die. But I superset all of them. So I was like, I'm in pretty decent shape. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. I did a workout last week. This is actually part of why it wasn't just that Marcy's grandmother passed away. I was not right. Like I hurt myself on our rower. I've got a rowing machine.
Yeah.
Have you ever done one of those?
I have not. No.
All right.
I think I have.
You got to come by.
I may have tried one time, like when I had a gym membership, but no, nothing.
Well,
it's been a long time if I have.
This Saturday, I know what you got to try out.
All right.
You got to try this rower out because it is brutal. So I did my whole workout, and then right at the end to finish, I did a 500. I wrote, because I got a whiteboard. I like to write it down, and when I finish it, I erase it. It feels good.
Oh yeah.
And
it's like having a to-do list.
It is.
Like I love checking stuff off the to-do list.
Oh yeah. It's accomplishing. And the last thing after all the weightlifting was a 500 meter sprint on the rower. And 500 meters, you can row that in like a minute. And so I go over there, I've done all the other stuff, and I'm pretty burned up because I did like 4 sets of 8 on squats. I've been doing squats again. And squats really build up that lactic acid. And so I was kind of feeling a little shitty when I got to them, but I got on the rower, and man, damn, I was not prepared. I got to 385 meters, but I'm like, come on, you can't be a bitch now. I'm like, you got 115 or whatever to go. Like, you got to finish it now. And I was like, I had run out of oxygen. Like I was out of air, but I was like, you got to finish. And so I just kept going, and I made it to 500. Like if I was in a boat, I coasted across the finish line because I had done put the thing down, and it was like, I was like down looking, gasping, and it was like 499, 498, or 498, 499, 500. Like I coasted to the finish line, but I was like gasping, and everything had gotten real dark, except like right where I was looking. And I mean, for a little while, I really was like, I think I'm about to black out. Like I couldn't breathe. And I went and I sat in my man cave. I sat down for like 20 minutes. Like I was just sitting there trying to recover, and got in the shower, and we had to go to a family thing that night for them. And I was at there, and I got my Garmin watch on. It's got my heart rate on it. It was like 125 while I was still there.
Damn, man. Like,
oh, I know. And then, like I would sit down, it'd be like 110. Like I'd be like not doing anything.
Like,
it hit almost 190 whenever I was doing the rower. And so I mean, for at least 2 full days, I was really just not right. And so I talked to my buddy Brandon Lilly, and he was like, man, you went hypoglycemic. He said, we used to do that when he trained at Westside. He said, we had a jar of honey, and we would eat some honey before we would do some of the like crazy sessions, because he said otherwise you'd go hypoglycemic. And he said a rower is notorious for like making guys go hypoglycemic. Man. And so he was like, you went pure hypo. And he was like, you should have eaten some sugar beforehand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I think I'm going to try the approach of easing into it now.
Well, that's, I know you put out some videos talking about New Year's resolutions and everything. And I was like, all right, I got to get back in better shape. And I just did a 30-minute kettlebell workout, nothing super strenuous at all. One I've done before. It's a YouTube video I watch where you just do it along with them.
Yeah.
But every time I do it, like it just, my legs, my glutes, oh yeah. And it's always about 48 hours later, I can barely walk. I was just like, I just had to like shuffle my legs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I knew I was going to do it, but I've done a little better this year than I've done in the past. I've kept up with it. And so now, of course, it doesn't make me sore anymore.
Yeah, you've worked through it.
But, yeah, no, I didn't get quite the extreme you did, but I couldn't walk.
Well, I ain't doing it again. Yeah. Like I'll
try the rower sometime.
Like I said, Saturday, you're off Saturday. Swing by here and go hypoglycemic on the rower.
I'll have the wild man with me on Saturday because my wife and daughter are going to got a softball commitment, but yeah.
We're going to have to document it for Talk Dirt to Me.
That's right. We can do that, but
well, y'all have heard some of our fitness talk.
Fitness, life and death.
Yeah, we've
gone a lot of places I really never thought we were going tonight, which is typical.
It is. Well, we kind of were going to go over our goals for this year.
Yeah.
I'll let you start. What you got? You got brewing?
So 2023
1,000 head
goals.
Of cattle.
No, that would definitely be bulling those.
You are going to start the next Yellowstone Ranch here in Tennessee. Oh, wait, hold on. Dude, I just completely forgot. Did you see about the real life Yellowstone in Tennessee?
No.
Where the dude is like, he's like the John Dutton. They've been trying like hell to get his land. He just keeps saying no. And it's in Tennessee.
Like, are they trying to take it like with eminent domain or just somebody's trying to buy it?
I don't remember. I had the article actually for last weekend. I was going to talk about it.
No, I hadn't heard this.
Man, I got to find this real quick. All right, here it is. Real life. Yeah, I saw this last week. It's a 7-generation ranch. And
where is it?
It's in Wilson County. It says the Liggins is their names.
That's kind of Middle Tennessee, yeah.
It says when the Liggins first settled their Wilson County land in 1789, so it's even older than the Dutton Ranch. There were no roads, just Indian paths and buffalo trails. So that this land has been farmed ever since. It says here it's a line straight out of Yellowstone, or it would be if it weren't happening to a real Tennessee family. Bill is the 6th generation to continue the farming. But I was trying to look here. It's the town. A new proposal from the city of Mount Juliet. So it's about there.
Yeah.
It said here.
See, the problem with them is they're like basically a suburb of Nashville. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
And Nashville has just exploded.
Yeah, it says here 20 minutes east of downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, it says it's their plans to alleviate traffic on a Mount Juliet Road by running a causeway straight through the farm.
Yeah.
And that's where he's been fighting it, like, apparently tooth and nail. They're getting, like, people to come together. They're signing petitions and stuff, but I just thought that was pretty wild. Yeah, Bill Ligon is his name. I mean, you can look it up, but it was pretty cool when I saw it. I was like, dang. So, and it's older than the Dutton Ranch. Now, it never says the acreage. I don't know that it's probably not a 50,000.
John Dutton, they were originally from Tennessee, so.
Oh, were they?
They might be related, yeah.
Is that in 1923? I hadn't watched it.
No, it's in 1883. They leave Tennessee to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the bad dudes are.
Yeah.
I think that's where. Did you ever watch Hell on Wheels?
I don't guess so.
Oh man, you need to watch it. I think
What is it?
it follows the railroad being built through the like Wild West, and they called it Hell on Wheels. They would when they'd move to an area to work, they'd set up tents and stuff around there. And Cullen Bohannon is the main guy.
Is it a recent movie or?
No, it's a series. It was
so like a miniseries.
It's probably close to 10 years old now. But
hell, that's new to me.
Well, me too. That's what I'm like. What ain't that old? And I'm like, well, I guess it's 10 years old. But Cullen Bohannon, I think he's from Tennessee, but he's in real life he's from Tennessee. The actor that plays him. Yeah. But it's solid. But no, yeah, I meant to say something about that. But yeah, so there is some real life Yellowstone stuff going on. So Bobby Lee will be bigger than John Dutton before long. That's your plans for this year. You are going to bowl the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know about that. No, so kind of what we were talking about earlier on, I've been able to conserve a bunch of my hay by having a bunch of stockpiled grass. So I figured it up. As of January 1, I had only fed 16% of my hay that I had put up for this winter. And so I thought, that's way better than I normally would do. Heck,
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, some years I have been feeding hay in like early October, which is ridiculous. I'm like, there's no way you can, like, that's not profitable, not sustainable. So I thought, okay, and this year we had circumstances, namely being we sold those calves early, and so I ended up with a lot of extra pasture. So I don't know that I'll always be able to do that good, but I said a goal for this year, by the end of the year, I will have fed less than 20% of my hay put up for next winter. So I think if I can, and that may be one I have going forward, like always, if by the 1st of January, I've gone through 20% or less of my hay, that I've got stored up for the winter, that's a pretty good goal. Which I kind of got to think about. It's like, well, how do I get to that number? Yeah. One, I'd like to just put up more hay this year, do a little better job.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what is the logistics to doing that?
And so, yeah, just getting more hay put up, and that way, you can, even if I have to feed more, I'll have more. And so as a percentage, it still might be the same, but be a little more aggressive, a little better with my fertilizing this year. Of course, the big thing this past year was just it didn't rain for like 6 or 7 weeks right in the middle of the summer. Yeah, which really, our second cutting hay was way later than it should have been. It was right there kind of between the first and second cutting. Two, now that I've already got my baler, because I didn't even have my baler until like Memorial Day last year. I can be a little more timely with that first cutting. That sort of thing. Just doing things to increase my hay production, period. And then, obviously if we can manage pastures well to have some stockpile grass to feed well into at least December. Yeah. That'll obviously help us quite a bit, but that was one goal. Just overall, just better management of my forages. Another one. So I'm pretty certain this year, instead of buying steers and bulls and, turning them all into steers like we normally do for our stocker operation, I've all but decided that I'm going to buy heifers, roughly breeding age heifers, put a couple of bulls out with them, get them bred and sell bred heifers,
versus
versus just selling, a truckload of stocker steers. And so in doing that, if that does end up coming to fruition, I was trying to think, I'd love to say we'll get a 90% of them bred. I think that again might be trying to boil the ocean. I'm going to say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and say 85%. I was going to go lower and say 80%. It's hard for me to say for sure because I don't even have the heifers yet. I don't even know for certain we're going to do it, but depending on the quality of heifers we end up buying, if we end up, buying some higher dollar heifers that we think are, I may want to push that number closer to 90% if we buy some more commodity type heifers that we don't pay a whole lot for, grouping them up through a sale barn, that kind of thing, then one, you just can't expect quite as much, and two, you don't have to, because you don't have near as much in that initial investment. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now, at least an 80%, and depending on what we end up with, I may modify that and get it to be a little more ambitious.
Okay.
Tell you what, we'll officially put 85.
There you go.
I'll say it right
Just
here.
Do it.
I'm
Just
gonna
go
write it down.
for it.
85% conception on those heifers, and that would be on a 60-day bull exposure. I'm not going to leave the bulls in with them for 4 months and and then claim, oh yeah, we got them all bred.
No, I guess the bred heifers, what do they bring more than a stocker steer?
So yes, they typically should. Now a lot goes into that because you're selling them by the head. Like those steers, we're selling them by the pound. And right now steers, when you look at, we're selling them, well, especially if we keep them all the way until Thanksgiving, like we normally would do, we're typically selling them about 850, 900 pounds. That's a very high valuable animal right now.
Yeah.
Bred heifers, and they should only go up, but right now you're seeing them bringing anywhere from, on the real low end, probably $1,500-$1,600 a head.
Really?
And really more like $2,000, $2,200 a head. And you see a lot of those out there advertised on the internet. You don't know if people are actually ever getting that price.
Yeah.
But based on all the fundamentals out there, they should only get higher. And so the possibility of getting $2,000 a head, and again, it depends. If I'm buying, if I get somebody to put together me a group of heifers, through a sale barn, and they're not all same color, and they're more just commodity type heifers, but replacement quality. Yeah, we might be happy getting $1,700 a head for them. If I buy them all off one farm or ranch or whatever, pay a little more for them. They're all,
uniform,
full background, everything. Yeah, but I'm going to pay more for them. And then,
well, I was going to ask, what is that? Because that
fancy,
sounds like
call those fancy.
Yeah.
They love to use that kind of terminology.
Well, that sounds like huge profit margin, but that's why I'm wondering, what is the, is a heifer a whole lot more expensive to buy? Like a non-bred heifer, are they a lot higher to buy than the steers?
So like right now, and I've just been kind of playing around because I'm not ready to buy any yet. And you find groups of them that like somebody already has, like they're selling off a big farm, they've got 30 to 50 head that all match up, all came from the same place, ready to go, pretty much ready for a bull. A lot of those, they're asking anywhere from, say, $1,300 to $1,500. So you better get $2,000 a head for them, because then I'm gonna have to buy a couple of bulls.
Yeah.
I've just got a fair amount of cost in them now. They're mostly growing just on grass, but we're feeding them a little. You're just taking risk. Somebody's going to step in a hole and break a leg and die. Stupid stuff like that.
What is just a basic idea? What is a one steer cost versus one heifer? Like if you were going to buy them,
so through a sale
not bred heifer, this is what.
So if you're just buying through a sale barn, steers are actually more.
Really?
Yeah, because for feeder cattle.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got some
just because they'll bulk up more.
Well, steers gain better.
Yeah.
Now every now and then you'll see somebody who have spayed heifers, and they'll pretty much sell just like a steer because they'll gain just like a steer.
Yeah.
Because they're not cycling, and they just don't gain quite as well. A heifer doesn't. But if you just go to the sale barn,
well,
and
that's a
you put
sexist
together
thing to say.
That's right. Yeah. What do they say? The gender wage gap. Yeah. But like if you just want to put together a truckload of 600-pound black steers and 600-pound black heifers, you're going to pay, I don't know, probably 10, 15 cents a pound less for the heifers.
That's crazy to me though, because if
they're like true, like these are going to be replacement heifers, then they may bring as much or more. Like these heifers are like top quality, like they need to be kept back.
Yeah.
You might get in a situation where they're going to bring as much or more.
Why would you not do bred heifers then if it's that much more? Just because of the hassle of having to deal with the breeders?
Well,
breeder bulls?
so the reasons not to do what I'm thinking about doing, so let's say I buy 50 head. Say we get an 80% conception rate. So that means I got 10 that didn't get bred. So I mean, I would just sell them as feeder heifers, but then I'm selling a group of 10 feeder heifers, so it's not a very big group. You know, I'm not making any money on them.
Yeah.
It probably won't lose money, but not making any on them. So then you just got 40. And then, yeah, you do have the added expense of the bulls. Yeah, I mean,
It's just more variables.
Yeah, and then, you know, the market may not work out, and two, I mean, you know, how are you going to sell them? You know, and right now I would say, you know, I'll just advertise them, put them out there on the internet, try to find, you know, just private treaty, somebody who wants to buy them from me. Yeah, there are some special sales, you know, where you could run them through, but yeah, there's just a lot more hassle. Like when we buy the steers, I mean, you know, we vaccinate them. You know, if they are bulls, we castrate them. We kind of get them ready to go, and then they're just grazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we check them, you know, daily, and, you know, rotate
Once a
pastures and whatnot. Yeah. And, you know, that sort of thing. And I mean, we're just watching them get fat on grass, basically. Yeah. And so it's easy. Like when it comes to the end of the year, and we'll put them on a truck, and like, we know that every one of them is going to sell, and we know about what they're going to bring, you know, relatively speaking. Probably a little more volatility in what you could get per head for those heifers. I mean, there's potential to, knock it out of the park. And say you buy a group and you've got, you know, you do really good buying them, you pay $1,300 a head for them. And then if, you know, supplies are as tight as they look like they're going to be, just because we've slaughtered so many heifers these last few years, and this fall you can get $2,000 a head for them. And obviously that's $700, but I mean, it's not all profit. You got a lot of other expenses in there, but I don't know, you may, where we normally, you know, feel like $100 a head is good, you know, on steers to make. And now we've made $200 a head on them. I mean, you may make $300 or $400 a head.
That's what I was just here wondering.
Heifers.
Yeah.
And so that's where, and I have the benefit of, like, you know, as opposed to like you, where this is my side hustle. So I can afford to
kind of play around.
Yeah. And you know, if I just break even, okay, you know, we're still going to have Christmas this year, you know, you know, the kids, you know, we're not going to starve to death. You know, and even if I lost a little money, I'd be a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, and I'd kick, you know, say, damn it, we'd made money on steers every year. Why did I do this? And I'd be buying steers next year.
Yeah. But you'd kick the dog.
Right. But I don't know. Some of it is because, I like variety is the spice of life.
That's right, man.
I want to try different. Like I feel like pretty certain with the steers, I'm not going to hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
Like I can hit a double, you know, maybe a triple, you know, and feel pretty confident you're going to hit a single. But these heifers, you could hit a home run or maybe even a grand slam.
Yeah.
You could strike out too.
Yeah.
But
it's always there. That's always a potential.
I'm a gambling man.
Dude, that's what I am. I don't think you can, I really don't think you can farm or ranch and not be a gambling man. Like I had, you know, I've been to Vegas. I spent about $20 gambling, and I had, like,
I've never been able to play table games. Like I do like to bet on sports, which I'm a big sports fan to begin with. A little, like, I don't bet big money by any stretch of the imagination, enough to,
just about 30 grand.
Yeah.
Maybe 100
per game.
Yeah.
No, enough to, if I'm going to sit out on my couch and invest 2 or 3 hours into watching a sporting event, I'll pull out my damn phone and make a little bet on it. And make it just a little more interesting.
Maybe that'd be how I could get it.
Pissed off and cut it off sometimes, or sometimes I sit there and I'm like,
I ought to try that, I guess, because I can't make myself sit down and watch one otherwise. But if I
actually find myself sometimes I still don't watch them that closely. If it's not a team I really care about.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's fun.
I don't, I've had people ask me, like with Vegas, they're like, do you like to gamble? I'm like, man, all I do is gamble. Like, I don't need to go anywhere and gamble. Like, my whole career is based on a gamble. Like, there's crop insurance and other things, but like, to make money to go into the next year where I ain't digging myself out of a hole going into the next year, I have to do better than like what the safe hold of crop insurance and all them. Like they might keep it where I can keep farming, but I'm going to have to hit a good year in order to get out of that hole. And so farming's enough of a gamble. So yeah, I'm with you, man. But I don't know, like on the cattle thing, cattle is tough, I'll tell you, like, because it takes a lot to make a good bit of money. You know, like think even if you profited $400 a head on 40 cattle, that's just $16,000, you know,
right.
like.
But you look at it this way. So, and $400 a head
that'd be big. Yeah.
That'd be big time. And so, yeah, let's say if I did that on 40 head, like you said, $16,000. But I'm doing that. Here's another way to look at it. On about 80 acres of grass. So let me do some quick math. So that's making, what, $200 an acre?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, y'all do better than that.
We do better than that, but like still, that's I mean, that's good. But I'm just saying, like the amount of hassle.
That's enough for me to pay the note on that farm.
Yeah.
Now I ain't making no money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, see,
but I'm also getting the farm for free.
If you were a guy that was like, I want to be a cattle farmer, and I want to make $60,000 a year. Like, I want to make a good $60,000 a year as a cattle farmer. You're gonna have to run a shitload of head of cattle.
Oh, that's why there's literally, I cannot name a single person anywhere around here that makes their income on cattle. And does nothing else. Like everybody, like there's some guys that row crop and have cattle.
Yeah.
They're, most of us, have a job in town and have cattle.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, I mean, 60,000 is that's not like asking a lot. Like that's a pretty standard.
Yeah. Nobody, I don't know anybody around here. I would say even that their primary source of income is cattle and like they do something else on the side. Like, no, it's everybody. It's like cattle or what they do on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause you'd have to
sell 300 head of cattle to pay.
You'd have to have so much ground, and two, like around here, you can't rent or lease up the ground because, pasture ground, is renting for a fraction. Like you're talking about like $30, $40 an acre typically.
Versus some of the sons of bitches paying damn near $300.
Yeah. In some cases, row crops paying 10 times that. So the only ground that's rented out for pasture is stuff that's not suitable for row cropping.
Yeah.
So there's just, it's people have cattle around here are doing it on the side, or they're retired and they've got some cows.
See, and like in your case, what you're saying, like for you on the side gig, I mean, an extra $12,000-$16,000, that's nice. That's a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
But like for a guy that's like, man, all I want to do, like, my dream is to be a cattleman, and that's all I want to do. It's like, bro, you got to be ready to sell seriously 200 to 400 head of cattle a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to move a shitload of cattle a year.
Yeah, and I mean, and you can do other stuff like, obviously that's just one part of my operation. I
still want to get you into. We're going to start breeding bucking bulls.
I am not. That is not a goal for 23.
Come on, you've already took one hit. You're ready.
No. If anything, that solidified my decision. But I feed out a few head, and you make even more money there because you're going straight to the consumer.
Yeah. You got to get creative if you're going to do that.
And that doesn't take into account the calves that I raise myself. So that's just. But that again, that if I do that well on that farm with just those 40 heifers, that pretty much pays my land note on that farm.
Yeah.
And I don't put any money in my pocket at the end of the year. Now I've got a farm, and that farm is,
and there is something to that.
Oh yeah. The equity I've got. Yeah. I mean, that's big time. Oh, that's enormous.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's something that I'll ever, reap the benefits of, and I hope my kids don't have to sell the farm, one day, but maybe a situation where it makes sense for them.
They're like, as soon as he's dead, it's all the money. No,
I don't think I'm going anywhere, but there may be a day when I say land's just too damn high around here. I'm going to sell it all and move to Montana. Start the Yellowstone.
Be one of the.
I'll be one of those sons of bitches that they're mad about.
Yep. You'll be the one wanting the airport coming through the ground.
What was the guy? I'll be the alpaca farmer out there. It's just doing it for a tax write-off. No, I will not. That was one of when I graduated from vet school. That was one of the things. I was like, I'll never touch one of those animals ever.
Alpacas.
Again. Alpacas or llamas. And if any of you out there have them, I'm sorry, but they're the same damn thing. Like,
they
of course,
are the same.
Those are fighting words if you say that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know the damn difference. Like, they're the same damn thing. I may be really pissing people off, but whatever. That and pot-bellied pigs. I'm like, I'm never going to have to touch any of those animals ever again. When they handed me that diploma, I was like, yes.
Why not pot-bellied pigs?
Well, the pot-bellied pigs are actually really smart, but they're a pain in the ass to work on, and it's more of the type of people that have pot-bellied pigs. And again, if I've offended anyone, be offended.
Be offended. I was going to say, you got to quote Matt Gates on that one.
Just go ahead and be offended. I mean, I have dealt with very few pot-bellied pigs, and I mean all of them were when I was in school, like 2 or 3, and I've dealt with thousands of people in my veterinary career. The most idiotic, craziest, stupidest client I've ever dealt with was a pot-bellied pig owner. And like the odds of that are so infinitesimally small. Like literally one of like 2 pot-bellied pig owners I've ever dealt with
was worse than all of the other.
Any horse, cow, dog, cat. Like you think cat people are crazy? No, you ain't seen nothing to you. And maybe that guy was an outlier, but I've never seen anybody act so stupid, idiotic. Like this dude needed to have his ass kicked. And, of course we're at school and hell, as a student, I sure as hell wasn't going to do it. I was just trying to, I was holding on to get that. But I mean, had somebody beat the piss out of that dude, I wouldn't have said a word. But anyway, that's a total side note. But yeah, pot-bellied pigs, they are very smart animals. I will give them like that. That's the thing people always. But it's more the people that have them.
That makes sense.
They're kind of they're a little different.
Yeah, yeah, they're like Alabama fans.
Yeah, and a lot of people like have them in the house.
I've seen that. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, a Venn diagram of like Alabama fans and then people that have pot-bellied pigs in the house. A lot of overlap there.
Yeah. Yeah,
overlap there. Apologies to our Alabama listeners.
That's what I figured, man.
Hey, if you live in Alabama, you really should be an Auburn fan because that's the ag school in the state. So
that's true.
If you're listening to an ag podcast,
that's true.
So
if you live in Tennessee and you're an Alabama fan that's never attended the University of Alabama, has no family that's attended the University of Alabama,
didn't move here from Alabama. You've lived here all your life, then that's just weird. Yeah. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's just weird. Yeah. I would say there's a special place in hell for you, but it's not quite that bad. It's not quite that bad, but yeah. Anyway. So what are your goals for 23?
We'll get into that next week.
Okay. You're right. We are right at an hour.
I was like, this is good. We've got a good episode in here because I got a few different things I'll hit on. So I'll save mine for next week.
Yeah. We don't want to rush through it.
No. I mean,
especially because
mainly I just don't want to.
Yours are more legit too, because like, again, this is your bread and butter.
Well, I was going to say, mainly I just don't want to go broke. That's always my goal going into the year.
Oh, you don't want to work for free though.
No, I want to make some money.
You sit on your couch and work for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't show up every day to break even.
No, I don't. Now there are guys around here that will rent farms at such a high price that they're
just trying to break even.
Yeah, but it's just so they can be like, I work that.
Yeah.
I work that. I work more ground than you. They got to be big dicking, man. It's I know you've seen The Other Guys.
The Other Guys. Is that the one with
Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, but I don't remember in that.
There's a part, Michael Keaton he's the police chief, and he also works part-time at Bed Bath & Beyond. And
seems like I vaguely remember that.
Well, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell are getting into it, and they're going back and forth, and Michael Keaton goes, guys, shake your dicks. This pissing contest is over.
That's a pretty good quote. Yeah.
It is, man. And I mean, it's Michael Keaton. He's a He's a very successful actor, but the way he's like, this pissing contest is over. And he's got on a Bed Bath & Beyond apron, I'm pretty sure, when he says it.
All I remember, who's Will Ferrell's wife?
Eva Mendes, bad to the bone.
Yeah, and the whole deal where he used to be a pimp and like
Gator.
but he doesn't realize he was a pimp. But anyway,
Yeah.
then was he driving a Prius? And Mark Wahlberg said, I didn't know they made vaginas this big or something.
Vagina on wheels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
vagina on wheels. Yeah, something like that. But anyway.
Yeah, the whole movie talks about what a battle axe Eva Mendes is, and he's like, yeah, she ain't much to look at, the old battle axe. And
Yeah.
check out the other guys. Y'all won't be disappointed.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
So, I got to give my wife credit on this one. But the product is Flying R Ranch Wear.
Okay, I've heard of that.
And it's by Ruddock, I guess that's how you say it, Ruddock. Ruddock Manufacturing. They're in El Paso, Texas. So, obviously made in the USA. But I had never heard of them. So you've heard of them, yes?
I have heard of them. I'm trying to figure out if it was like I might have seen an ad. I'm wondering.
Flying R Ranch Wear. And I think, because obviously she bought it from me, or it was Christmas presents, but make a lot of like Western shirts. In fact, I wore mine today. I think she got me 3 for Christmas. This is one of them. Yeah, it's really good looking, really tough. I haven't had them very long, but from what I can tell, very well made. Made in USA, and of course we talk about all sorts of different products, but clothing, shirts, things like that are hard to find. Like the vast majority of stuff in my closet is not made in the USA.
Yeah.
So anytime I can come across, and they're not, again, we always hit on like, hey, you might as well not even have to point out that this stuff's more expensive. These aren't outrageously expensive, good quality shirts. I think she got me a short sleeve. This one's obviously a long sleeve for those of you watching on YouTube. And then she got me one that's a long sleeve, but it's flannel.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's got to get a little colder again for me to wear that one. But,
yeah.
Anyway, check them out. Flying R Ranch Wear, or made by Ruddock Manufacturing.
There you go. I'll look into it. I always like some good button downs.
Yeah, got the pearl snaps, man. You can't.
That's what I like. I got a denim shirt that's got those.
Man, I love just walking in my closet and just popping it off.
Yeah.
And then of course I do that to my wife.
Yeah.
She's never impressed.
I was gonna say I've tried that on mine, and it doesn't have the same effect as if she were to do that to me.
Oh, I mean, every married guy out there knows this.
Yeah.
But
I wish she would just come up to me and just rip it off.
Yeah, I'm like, buddy, like just once. And hell, I do it multiple times a week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, with you. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave us a rating and a review. Reach out to us, contact us on our page, talkdirtpodcast.com. Go to contact. You can shoot us a message. You can message me or Bobby Lee on Instagram, and let us know some questions you got. Any topics you'd like for us to cover going into 2023. Anything you want us to review, any of that. We're open for all of it. And we do have some guests we got to get lined up on here, but I think we got a pretty cool year ahead of us.
Yeah. We'll hear about Logan's goals next week.
Yep. Guys, have a good one.
See y'all next week.